Alright everyone, now we have to talk about this Netflix protest, basically get together of a half a dozen employees over Dave Chappelle still being there. There was a Netflix employee walkout. Now keep in mind, firstly, there are thousands of people that work in those offices in Netflix. You've got about a dozen people-ish there, and then you've got some random other protesters and so-called counter-protesters, and one of them was Vito Gesualdi. Now, this is a YouTuber, link in the description. You can watch his video of these events. You should subscribe to his channel, since anyone who's being attacked by the legacy media is a friend of mine. So, we'll give him a shout-out here, first link there, and maybe I'll pin it in a comment as well. And you can quite clearly see this individual has his sign stolen at one point and broken. He's sitting there with a stick, and then people are screaming about him having a weapon, which is typical leftoid cringe. See, they don't like the idea of anyone around them having the ability to defend themselves against them, because they're violent individuals. They're violent, cringy people. They tend to be fairly weak because they survive on a diet of soy and roasted crickets. So they need to even the odds, and Vito's larger than them considerably, which is funny. Now he goes there. He's got his sign. He's saying, Dave Chappelle's funny, don't cancel Dave Chappelle. These people are calling Dave Chappelle transphobic, which he's not. It's comedy, but they wouldn't understand because they don't have a fucking sense of humor. Otherwise, they wouldn't be leftoids. So he goes there. His sign gets stolen. Now, they approach him, and there's one chick out like this. She's doing like the Virgin Mary thing, or like the Jesus thing, I guess trying to block him from moving forward. There's another chick with a fucking tambourine, shaking it in his face, saying, fuck you, totally shouting at him, and he's just sitting there trolling them, basically, yelling about Dave Chappelle being funny. Earlier on, he had gotten onto a little, side area, a little, garden edge, and he was yelling about Dave Chappelle and stuff, and they started saying Black Lives Matter, which I don't know what that has to do with trans rights. I don't know what that has to do. What does that have to do with Dave Chappelle's black, dude? You're trying to cancel him and take a bunch of money from him. Yeah, Black Lives Matter, unless it's Dave Chappelle or somebody akin to him. Unless it's Ben Carson, then Black Lives don't matter anymore to these people. See, it's not about the fact that they're black. It's basically a grift. BLM is a grift by commies. Anyway, they get him up there, and he starts shouting Black Lives Matter too, which I thought was hilarious. He's basically trolling these people. Now, we've got a couple of false claims about him. He's being defamed Covington style. Just like with Covington, a person shows up, they're not doing anything wrong, they're not doing anything hateful, they have said nothing hateful, they're not armed, they're not an extremist, they got a long track record of just being a chucklehead or whatever. In Sandman's case, a long history of being a fucking high schooler. And then the legacy media gets out of context clips or images and portrays an image of what happened that is completely goddamn false. I hope he sues. I hope he goes with the Sandman fired his initial lawyer, Lynn Wood. He went off to do crazy political shit, I think, and Sandman's like, fuck it. He needs to get a good attorney, and he needs to seriously consider suing these people. Because this is flat-out defamation. Just to be clear, I'm going to take you through this. This is what they said. And again, link in the description. You can see the video of this whole thing yourself that's being alluded to by these legacy media outlets. Now, the first one is an image that was captured, actually. This is by Damien Dovarganes. He's an AP staffer, and it's got a little blurb below it. Comedian and videographer Vito Gesualdi screams profanities as he engages with peaceful protesters begging him to leave. The funny thing is, if you look at this particular image, when it was actually taken, this is when the chick with the tambourine is directly in front of him. She was screaming obscenities, not Vito. He was saying, Dave Chappelle's funny, and doing the facial mugging and stuff. He's doing the funny YouTuber thing. He was making jokes at their expense, which is probably why they were so irate. They weren't begging him to leave. They were just standing there swearing at him. You can barely understand what half these people are saying. You got several dozen Karens screeching at you at once. You really think you can tell what they're saying? This person thinks that Vito is the one that was swearing his ass off like a drunken sailor. The problem is that this particular image and that exact line with regards to him supposedly screaming profanities, which never happened, and about peaceful protesters that had just destroyed his property, by the way. It's not part of a peaceful protest. The problem is that this same exact screed has been plastered on dozens of secondary news sites now. Most of them are like more like the gaming and the like the e-sites and stuff like that. And I don't think it's on CNN. He potentially has a case, though, at least against AP over this. This is, I guess, a licensed photo from a staffer there with this particular write-up, which has been repeated ad nauseum. Now Vito is in danger of having people unsubscribe from his content because they think he's extreme or he hates trans people, despite the fact that he's a fucking chucklehead who appears to be half a foot taller than the tambourine chick. Again, it's very, very funny. It's like an Ewok and a Wookiee at some point. He's making fun. He's not being profane. He's going out of his way to be peaceful. He joins them in a fucking BLM chant at some point, and they say that people are begging him to leave. These protesters just want him to leave. He wouldn't stop swearing at us. It was very intimidating. Now, number 2 here. And these links, by the way, archived are in the description. By the way, Vito, if you see this, archive everything. You see a story about you that's defaming you, run it through the archive. For legal purposes, the screenshot ain't necessarily going to cut it. Use archive.today and always use it. And then Variety decides to do this. At times, the Netflix walkout situation threatened to devolve as counter-protesters pushed against trans speakers. And what it shows is a picture, again, of the chick that's doing the Jesus or Virgin Mary impression right in front of him. Now, that would insinuate, he was moving towards them, and she shielded against this evil, big, far-right extremist that was swearing at them and threatening them. But that's not what happened. She approached him. She came up to him in order to literally sit in his face, while another person, who I believe is right behind the chick in the rainbow mask there, was beating on her tambourine saying, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Not begging him to leave, just telling him to fuck himself, essentially. So this is flat-out defamation. Whether or not it's legally actionable, unfortunately, within U.S. guidelines and modern law, this isn't the way it was originally, normally courts make you prove that there's some sort of damage involved. That doesn't mean that you can't press him into a settlement. Sandman can't prove that there were any particular damages from Bloomberg, which he settled for probably at least hundreds of thousands of dollars last year. Probably couldn't compel a judge to say, hey, yeah, of course, you've lost livelihood, because Bloomberg claimed something that was blatantly false about you. And then they didn't retract it in a timely fashion. These individuals being contacted, I'm sure, at this point by a plurality of YouTubers, I doubt will retract. A lot of them will hide behind, well, we just used the AP image and the text came with it. Maybe so, but can AP hide behind that? Can Variety hide behind its defamation? Maybe, maybe not. Vito could walk out of this with hundreds of thousands of dollars in a settlement, simply by intimidating them, saying, look, you clearly defamed me. You want the judge to decide, or you just want to pay me to hush up and go away? Oh boy, wouldn't that be funny. I love it when these morons have to pay through the nose. And Variety is a scum rag of fuck rats, and AP is terrible. Their fucking polls are all over the place because they're push polls. This is the sort of justice that we need. So if Vito gets anything going as far as crowdfunding, I think we can do a clanker pitch for that. Yeah, I think that we can help him out a little bit. Maybe I'll take part. That'd be funny, because these people definitely deserve it. This is Covington 2.0. It's just that this is, I mean, it's not on CNN or Bloomberg. It's on all of the e-sites, though. Got to AP. Congrats, Vito. I hope you enjoy all the new subscribers. So again, link in the description to his video. Take a look at his channel. He is quite funny, so you should subscribe to him. Yeah, we should shout each other out more often on this fucking platform anyway. That's about all. Peace out.